Hello everyone and welcome back to another video of Dogma Summer Camp CAD. So this is the first challenge video of our video series. And if you're watching this video, you should have already completed or finished watching all the other videos along with the first account setup video and the other 4 videos talking about extrusions and sketches. So today, and again, you really don't have to watch this video. If you watched all the videos and learned about all those extrusions, you're pretty much done for the week. And this video is going to be some pretty challenging stuff. We're gonna be talking about 2 fancy extrusions today, and those are chamfers and fillets. So these are gonna be pretty interesting. These are gonna be ways that you can edit your extrusion without having to make another sketch. So let's get to it. Okay, so here I have a 4x4x4 cube already catted, pretty simple. Just sketch a 4x4 square, excuse me, and then extrude it symmetrically for it to be 4 inches also. So here, let me just select fillet to show you what it does. So it says entities to fillet, select edges or faces to fillet. I'm gonna try to select an edge here and then press check mark. So you can see here that the fillet has given me a little rounded edge, a little rounded corner here. So the reason that we really do this in, I guess design is so that when we're catting something and we're giving it to the mechanical team to build it, we don't want them to cut something with like such sharp edges. And then when they're trying to like handle them and grab them again without gloves, even though they should be wearing gloves sometimes, and really all the time, we don't want them to get hurt from these edges. So the reason that we want these little fillets is that we want them to sand it here to make it like rounder so they can handle it better. So yeah, again, the fillet tool basically just makes the side or edges round. And obviously, when you click a side, it's like this extrusions. You can always, make it deeper, make it shallower, how much you want to extrude, or make it extrude on one side or symmetrically. And you can do the same thing with fillets. You can edit the fillet. You don't always have to have them at 0.2 inches radius. Like you can see here, the current fillet right here is radius at 0.2 inches. So what does that mean, this measurement? So let me put check mark again and let's do some measurements. So if I click this dot over here where the fillet ends on this face, and the dot over here, or the point, where the fillet ends on this face. So if I click the measurement tool here, you can see that the Y distance between these two, as you can see in the 2 lines here, there was a line over here indicating the Y distance, which is 0.2 inches, which means the fillet goes in 0.2 inches in on this face, and the Z distance, which goes downwards, that's also 0.2 inches, which means the fillet also goes 0.2 inches on this side. And that actually makes sense because the measurement is measured in inches and it's a measurement of radius. And the radius just means that, if I draw like a little circle here off this little arc, I can make this circle like, oh shoot. Sorry, excuse me. I can make this little circle that kind of like is tangent to this little arc and just kind of continue the arc to make a circle like my mouse is drawing right now. If I make that circle, the radius of that circle is going to be 0.2 inches. And that makes sense because this is the radius and this is also the radius. So they're all 0.2 inches. So you can also change that to something like 0.5 inches if you want, which will go a lot more in depth into the shape. Or not that more. You can also do 2 inches, which is literally half of the entire shape. It's a big curve. Probably not ever going to use that, but Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about are chamfers. Just going to delete this. So chamfers, as you can see in the icon, is also very similar to fillets. So instead of a rounded corner, you have a chamfered or kind of like slanted corner. So this you can also use when you don't want, your mechanical teammates to handle things and then get injured. So instead of like this, instead of the fillet, you can have this chamfer where you can just put the edge straight up to the sander and sand it like that, which also prevents, safety hazards like a paper cut or like actually like a wood cut or something like that. So the same thing with chamfers, they also have a distance here. So this distance is also equal of distance. So if I do 0.2 inches or 0.5 inches, and I click check mark and measure them again, you should see that the y distance and z distance are the same again. So you see them are the same again. However, you can edit this one because this is not a radius matter. This is like a distance matter. So you can, there are two distances here. There's a y distance and a z distance. So currently the y distance and z distance are equal distance. So they both go in 0.5 inches on each side. But you can change this to two distances. So distance 1, let's change this one, but hold the distance 2 constant. So if we change this one to like 1 inch, that's going to go down a lot. So the z distance is going to change a lot when we change distance 1. So however distance 1 changes, if you don't change distance 2, it's going to stay the same. Or the distance 2 is going to stay the same if you don't change that one. So from that, you can create different types or different angles at which you can, sand this. And that actually brings us to our next, type of chamfer, which is distance and angle. So this distance here, you can change to 0.2, let's say. Oh, but currently it's 45. Okay, so, oh yeah. So if I just keep this distance constant and change this angle to 60, or let's say 70, or 75, this distance, the z distance right here, this one never changes when you change the angle, because this one is always constant, unless we change the distance. So if I change this back to 45 degrees, actually let me just do 30 degrees to show you what happens when I change the distance. So the distance can be 0.5, and this goes down with the angle, but this also increases because the angle is constant. It's not two distances. So yeah, those are all the ways that you can use chamfer to make these small cuts in your extrusion to edit them. And it's a very useful tool. And I'll see you guys in the next one. The next video, we're going to be learning about something even fancier called lofts and maybe even splines or sweeps. Sorry.